Hello children, please sit down. My name is Maria and I'm your new teacher of Russian language. I was asked to be a teacher at least for this period of time, so today is going to be our very first Russian language lesson. We're going to go through a couple of different things, so we'll talk about that a bit later. Let's start with opening up our textbooks and writing down my name. Once again, my name is Maria. Excuse my messy blackboard here. It's Maria. Or in Russian, it's Maria. Same way as in English, but you will need to roll your tongue. Maria. Very good. So it's Maria or Maria. I am a new teacher in your school, so please be patient with me. I will try to make this lesson as easy on you to understand as possible. I'm hoping to be informative and interesting enough so you can learn a few things about Russian language. Let me just put these things away. I have my notepad to do some notes that I have some notes in too. Then I have this book that I actually will need to fill out a few forms if you don't mind. It will take just 1 second. You can meanwhile open up your textbooks and just look through them. Okay. Today is the 16th of February 2012 and I'm really happy to be here. I have some forms that I need to fill out, some receipts and some notepads that I was asked to date and complete. So let me just go through some of them. Okay, and this class consists of 30 people, is that correct? Okay, 30 students. Very good. Okay. Now, this is your very first Russian language class, is that correct? Okay. Very good. Do you guys study any other language? Spanish? Okay. So this is going to be your third language. Very good. Very well. So I hope you guys enjoyed your vacation time. I sure did. Yes. Sometimes you really need it, don't you? And I have some forms. Okay. I think that's about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, I think that's about all. Let me put it back in here. I have some other forms, but I will complete that a bit later. Okay. Alright, let me have a sip of water. Okay. So, Russia. Write it down, please. Or Россия. Russia or Russia. Russia covers up to 17.1 million square kilometers of surface of Earth. So it is the largest country on our planet. It neighbors to huge, big, and very important countries such as China and many other countries, and Europe including. It has the greatest deposits of the natural resources such as oil, copper, gold, platinum, natural gas, and many other things. It is very important to know things about Russia because it has different cultures in it, and it has a long historic background. I could actually give you a history lesson one day if you'd like to. It doesn't have to be about Russia, but I would be gladly to give you a lesson on geography or history. I also have this Russian dollhouse as a symbol of Russia. It has a beautiful face, some paintings on the bottom there, just to create a theme for you. So, Russia. Now, let me start the lesson by starting off explaining to you and trying to remember the alphabet sounds. Please excuse my moving board over here. It's not attached properly. Okay, so I brought the tables charts with me, so I will hang them. Can you see it this way? I believe you can. Very good. Okay, now the second one. And the last one, a very short one. Alright, very good. So, let me read them. Let me read the letters for you first. You can follow me and repeat it if you'd like to. So, it's A, B, V, Г, Д, Е, Ё, Ж, З, И, К, Л, М, Н, О, П, Р, С, Т, У, Ф, Х, Ц, Ч, Ш, Щ, твердый знак, И, мягкий знак, Ю, Я. So let's start looking a bit closer at these sounds. Now, I made some examples on the bottom here. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly. I'll try to zoom it in a bit closer so you can see a bit better. Now, I put some example words of the sound so you can recognize it better a little bit. So, for example, the sound ah you would hear in a word such as ask, but in British English form. Then, for example, a sound b, like in a word buy, v, like in a word visit, g, like in a word get, d, like in a word did. Yeah is a little bit of a complex sound, so it consists of two parts, such as y and e, like in a word yes. So that's a sound yeah. Then a sound yo. It also consists of two sounds, y and o, and it sounds like yo, like your, but without an r in the end. Are you following me, guys? All right. Then a sound je. Je. You can hear. I was looking for an appropriate word, and I found a word usual, and you say the sound j in it, even though it doesn't seem like it should be. It still is. So, for example, usual, usual, and this is the j. Then the sound z, like in a zoo, for example. Then the sound e, like a double e. It's a long e, like in a word free. Then a sound e. I'll actually explain this one to you a little bit better. Like you would hear it in a word soy, joy, boy, anything ending with the y. Sometimes in last names, in Russian names, you would a lot of times see ending of the last name this way, e and then y. Why is that? Does anybody know that? The answer? That is a female form of the last name. So this is this e and e, e and e. That will show a male form of a last name. They can be a female form and a male form. So in the future, if you don't know why Russian people a lot of times have this long ending, that's because it differentiates male last name from a female last name. Okay. Then a sound k, just like in your k, like kites, kike, anything like that. L like in lock, M like in dome, home, just a sharp M. N that looks like your H, it's actually in our language, it's an N, like in nose. Then a sound O. It's not as soft O like you would have it in English, but it's a sharp, long O, like O in a word auto, and not the ending O, but it's the first two letters one. So with our O, you will need to elongate your jaw, just drop your jaw and pronounce O as a full sound, not just O. Sorry for a little technical problems. So as I was saying, that is the sound O. The next sound is the sound P. You would hear it in a word. For example, pets. The next one is the sound R. That is the one that is so different from other languages. You will need to roll your tongue to actually pronounce it properly. Like in a word rest, but you need to roll your tongue. Like in my name, for example, Maria and Maria. You can see a little bit of a difference there. Then the letter S, like in a word Sam, son, Sa. A letter T, also very close to your pronunciation, and like in the word desk, for example. Then the word a letter U, that would sound like in the word boom. Then the letter F, like in the word fact. H, like in the word home, hammer, hamster. A letter T. I found a really good example, like in the word that's. In the end, this ending ts is the one that sounds like a sound T. So it's T or ts. Then a sound ch, like in the word cheek. Then a sound word letter. I'm sorry, I keep messing it up. I'm just a little bit nervous. I apologize. So sh, like in a word crush, or rush, or shampoo, anything like this with a sh. Then a sound sh, which is very similar to a letter sh, but it's a little bit stronger. So it's sh. The best example is when the sh is doubled, like in a word rush ship. This way it turns out to be close to sh as possible in the as an example for the Russian pronunciation. So once again, this is a sh, this is a sh, like crush or rush ship. This is a твердый знак or hard sign. This is a soft sign or a мягкий знак. These two sounds are not pronounced. They are actually there in the speech just to soften up or harden up the sound or the letter standing behind it. This one will obviously harden it up because it's a hard sign. This one will soften it up because it's a soft sign. Then the next sound is the sound oi. We're gonna try and repeat it right now. Oi. I can only describe it in one way. If you open up your mouth and you drop your jaw a bit, you pull your tongue to the back and try to pronounce a sound between I and U as you push your tongue from the back up into the front and touch your teeth, your lower teeth with your tongue. Oi. We can try it all together. Oi. So move your tongue from the back up to the front to touch your teeth and pronounce a sound from between I and U. Oi. Oi. It's a very interesting sound. I think you will be able to learn it over the time, but it's a very important sound and it's used in many words. Then the sound a, which is pretty simple, just like in the word addict. The sound u, like in the word you, and the sound ya, just like in the word yum. Okay. So that's about it for the letters. Let me take it off. Sorry about that. My blackboard is about to fall on me. Okay. I'm hoping it's fun so far. I know there were a lot of requests for you to try and learn some Russian language. Sorry about that. So I try to make it as interesting for you as possible. So now I'm going to teach you how to write a couple of sentences in Russian language, and I think it could be very helpful to you too, because me personally, I always feel so honored and so surprised and flattered when another person who I know doesn't speak Russian would say something in Russian, and it's always so wonderful. So I would strongly recommend you learn some words in every language that you can, just to surprise people, just to have a conversation piece, because it's always interesting to hear some sentences with an accent, for example. And also, overall, I think it's pretty cool to know, to know other languages, at least some words or sentences from them. I think it's a good idea to learn a few. So I'll teach you a couple phrases. First one is, I think because we just passed the Valentine's Day, we can learn something about love. And that will be the sentence "Я тебя люблю." So in English, it sounds "I love you." Let's write it down. Make sure that you're writing it down. I love you. And let's put a little heart at the end, just for cuteness. Alright, so in Russian it sounds Я тебя люблю. So it's Я. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be Я люблю тебя. It's going to be just a little bit of different form of the same sentence, which means the same thing. So it's Я люблю тебя. Okay. Where I is a я in this sentence. Love. Is люблю. Okay. And you is тебя. So you is тебя. And I'm going to write it in transcription now so you can pronounce it and learn how to pronounce it easier. So the word я is going to be written like this so you can so you can understand it easier and remember how you pronounce it. Я люблю. Same way, I'm going to make a transcription. Лю. I will put these letters in capitals just to mark a stress point in the word. So, люблю, stressing out the second part of the word. Я люблю, and then тебя. Don't forget to write it down, please. Sorry, it didn't fit there completely. I apologize. So, тебя, бя is also a stress point in this word. So it goes. Я люблю тебя. Я люблю тебя. Stressing the end of the word in the word люблю and бя. Did you remember it? Let's repeat it all together. Я люблю тебя. Very good. Anybody having any problems with this sentence? You do? Okay. Alright guys, make sure that you write it all down and let me help out this young friend of mine here, and I'll be right back with you. Make sure that you write it down properly. Okay? Let me get a pencil. Okay. The last sentence that I'm going to introduce you to is going to be спасибо, which is just a thank you in Russian. Alright, so it's спасибо. 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 Okay? That would be in transcription, of course. In English, that means thank you. So it's спасибо. Spa. And the stress part is the second half of the word. Si, right here. Right here. Спасибо. Спасибо. Alright. Hope I think that was easy enough to understand, okay? Alright guys, sorry for all the technical problems. It is my first time being a teacher, so I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hope it was information. I hope I provided enough information, and I hope everything was understandable enough. I will try to do a better job maybe next time. But I thank you so much for being patient and for your attention, for your lovely suggestions. And I will see you very soon again. Thank you. Bye. Hello, my dear students. I'm very happy to see you here again. Thank you so much for joining me at yet another Russian language lesson. In this video, in this lesson, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of Russian history, Russian language history, and I will teach you some numbers, so from 1 to 10. In the second half of the video, you will be taught some of the phrases and common words that you could be able to use in the future that could be helpful for you in the future or just for fun. So let's start. So once again, today's topic is Russian language or русский язык. Russian language is a Slavic language spoken primarily in Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. I will be referring to some of my notes here. I hope you don't mind that, just to make it proper. So, Russian belongs to the family of Indo-European languages, and it is one of the 3 living members of the East Slavic languages. It's one of the 6 languages of the United Nations, and it is the most geographically widespread language in Eurasia, having over 144 million native speakers in Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine. Also, it is the 8th most spoken language by native speakers, and the 4th one most spoken by non-native or just speakers, basically. Not necessarily native speakers, that rephrase it like that. There are some dialects in Russian language as well as in any other languages. These dialects are mostly divided into 2 regional groupings, northern and southern. In these dialects, you can always see distinct and non-standard features in pronunciation, in intonation, in vocabulary overall, and the grammar. Some of these dialects are really like relics of ancient usages, but unfortunately most of them are completely discarded by current standard languages. So as far as the northern Russian dialects, those are usually spoken along the river Volga, from north down to the south, and typically these dialects pronounce a sound O very clearly, which is called okanye. And in the southern Russian dialects, unstressed ye and followed by a is not pronounced as e as it's supposed to. It's pronounced as a and therefore is pronounced as a ya. It's a little bit complicated to explain right now because you need to go a little bit deeper into the Russian language to properly explain it. And it's called yakanya, and it's used in some forms of the sentences. So we'll leave it there. So there are two dialects, major dialects. As far as some history behind Russian language, judging by historical records, by approximately 1000 AD, the predominant ethnic group of the most European Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus nowadays have been speaking relatively close kind of a dialect to Russian language, so that it takes place a long time ago. Then it has been adopted by Christianity and firstly started in times of Kievan Rus. It has been commercialized into a native commercial language back then in 988, but then the languages started to have differentiations in them after the breakup of the Kievan Rus, which took place in 1100s, and therefore our languages split into parts, two separate ones. So as far as for numberings, I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit just to show you a little bit more up close. The numbers, I hope you can see them all. Okay, so we're gonna learn how to say numbers from 1 to 10 today. So right now I have only 5, and I will include the other 5 later. Let's start with the first one. Let me just read it to you. It's 1 is один, 2 is два, 3 is три, 4 is четыре, 5 is пять, 6 is шесть, 7 is семь, 8 is восемь, 9 is девять, and 10 is 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's write it first in Russian. 1. I'm going to write this type of a D letter sound D because it's a little bit easier. Usually you would write it a little bit differently, but just for you to understand it better for now, I'll write it this way. And this is in Russian I'm writing right now. 1. I would like to explain to you right away what I'm going to be doing. Today I will try to teach you how to say these words and sentences easier in English without complicating them into transcriptions like I did in the last video. I will try to use a form of a translate instead of a transcription. So in translate, you would write down it this way. 1. Here is a trick. In this whole video and the next one as well, you will hear me say 1, pronouncing this sound as not an O, but as an A. That is due to this portion of the word to be stressed. So this is the letter that is stressed in the word. Therefore, this letter, unstressed, becomes the sound A. So, 1. This one is 2, 2. In Russian, you would write it this way. 2. In translate, you would write it as this. 2. 3. is very close to American pronunciation or many other languages as well. And that would be 3. This is the Russian version. 3. And translate, you would write it as this. Три. Very simple. 1, 2, 3. 4 would be 4. It's a little bit more complicated number. Oh, let me write it first in English, in Russian, sorry. Okay. Okay. 4. 4. In translate, you will write it as such. 4. 3. 4. Let's pronounce it together. 4. Okay. And number 5 will be 5. Which is in translate written the following way. 5. Now here's a trick. Do you see how I wrote down 5? You could try and pronounce it as a 5, probably with the sharp T in the end, but because in this case we're using a soft sign, which in Russian language softens the letter standing in front of it, therefore it creates a softer version of a T sound, T in this word. So it will be not 5, but 5. So I would write an extra sound here. You will not usually write it down, but when you pronounce it, you would try and put it in the word, so it's going to be pronounced properly. So it's 5. 5. Okay, and let's read it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now we're going to go to the rest of the numbers. Let me just wipe off the desk. I hope it's easy for you to understand it at this point. Russian is a pretty complicated language, but everything is doable, right? Okay, so now numbers from 6 to 10. 6 or 6, 7 or 7, 8 or 8, 9 or 9, and 10 or 10. 6. Again, you see the soft sign in the end? That will soften the sound T in this case. So it will be written this way in translate. Hope you can see it. 6, But again, remember that when you're pronouncing it, you will be pronouncing it softer. Like if you would say a sound t's. So it would be шесть. No, 7. And you see it's softened in the end again. Yet one more time with the soft sign. And translated will be written this way. 7. But once again, I would strongly recommend you try and soften it up. So I would put this piece right here just to stress the softness of the M in the end. So let's try to pronounce it. 6, 7. Okay. 8 or 8. 8. Again, soft sign in the end. It doesn't have any pronunciation. It's actually called soft sign. 8. And translated will be 4, 7. Again, soft M. 8. Try to pronounce it. 8. Very good. 9. Or 9. 9. Or in translate it will be 9. With the silent Z, sort of to say 9. Again, because of the silent sound here. 9. Okay. And the last one, 10. Also with the soft T in the end. So it's 10. I hope it's easy to understand so far and easy to follow. And translated will be the following way. 10. Yet with again a softer silent T. See? T with the C here. So 10. And let's try to go from top down. Okay? So 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And now we can try to pronounce it all together from 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we're going to move on to the second half of the video. Hi again, welcome to the second part of the Russian language video. And in this video I have some symbols of Russia here, Russian church sort of, and the Russian dollhouse again. In this video I'm gonna teach you how to say some sentences, hopefully to surprise somebody you know who's Russian, or just to teach some of your friends how to say something in Russian. I'm pretty sure not many people know how to speak Russian, especially some sentences. Also, if you ever travel to Russia, it's always good to sort of shock people with your knowledge of some words in Russian and some sentences. That's my opinion, at least. So I would be definitely surprised and pleasantly surprised if you did. So as far as the sentences that will be used in this video, I'm gonna put them down below in exactly the order that I will be introducing them to you here, so you can follow me by the description instead of on the board if it's a little bit hard to see exactly what I'm writing. Now I already explained how I am trying to show you some sentences in Translate here, because if you're not using Cyrillic alphabet or keyboard letters, then you don't really even need to know how you write them in Russian properly. So if you ever write them down, you can write them in Translate. That will be sort of easier on you, I'd say. That's the only reason why I do it in Translate. Okay, so now the very first sentence that we're gonna try and learn today is going to be, what is your name? So that's a very important sentence to know, a question, sorry, to know. So let me get another one, sorry. Sorry about that. Hope it wasn't too loud. I'm sorry for once. Okay. What is your name? What is your name? And that would be Как вас зовут? In Russian it would be written the following way. Как вас зовут? Как вас зовут? And then Translate, you would write it this way. Как вас зовут? And once again, in this sentence, in this word зовут, you can see again that rule that I told you before, that if this part of the word is not stressed, O is being transferred into a sound A. So it's Как вас зовут, with the A pronouncing Как вас зовут. Okay, so what is your name? Как вас зовут? Very well. Now the answer to this question will be, my name is, and then you put your name. For example, my name is Maria. Меня зовут Maria. Okay? So, sorry about my chalk problems. Okay, so it's my name is Меня зовут Меня зовут, and then translate this. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Меня зовут, and again transferring it into an A. Меня зовут Maria. In my case, my name is Меня зовут. Меня зовут, and your name. So it should be simple enough. I'm really sorry, and that you have to always see me wiping the board slowly. Okay. So the next sentence would be how are you, or как дела. If you're trying to be nice to somebody and you want to know how they are, you would ask them как дела, how are you. So let's write it down. How are you? Or как дела? This is the version in Russian. Как дела? And in translate, it's как дела? How are you? Как дела? If you're trying to answer this in a positive way, you would say good or хорошо. Хорошо. Good. Sorry. Ho. Ро. Шо. Хорошо. And here again the rule of the stress. Хорошо. This is the part of the word that is stressed. Хорошо. Therefore, the sound O here and O here are transferred into sound А. So it's хорошо. Как дела? Хорошо. How are you? Good. Okay? Alright. Now, sentence which could be very fun, but at the same time is sort of important, especially if you're planning on traveling to Russia, for example. You might actually have to remember that one if you will need to find a restroom. So, a question: where is the restroom? Where is the restroom? You would ask them, где туалет? Sorry for the squeaky sound. Где туалет? Где туалет? And in translate it's где туалет? Где туалет? Let's repeat it. Где туалет? Where's the restroom? Где туалет? Okay. Now, if you're trying to make a compliment, to compliment somebody, you could say, "You're beautiful." In this sentence, we'll need to change sexes into female and male form. In Russian language, you need to separate and differentiate two sexes in the sentences by specific endings in the words. So, the sentence, "You are beautiful." You are beautiful would be ты красивая. Ты красивая. Ты красивая. And here is that ending that differentiates between the female sex and male. So in translate it would be ты красивая. This is the ending that I'm talking about. The, let's repeat it all together. The, it's a harder version of an I. So it's a ты красивая. Ты красивая. Ты красивая. Ты красивая. And if you are addressing a male person, you would just change the ending in the word. And you would say, ты красивая. Вы красивые. Ты красивый. 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 Ты красивый. You are beautiful. Okay? Now, another fun sentence that you could shock a lot of people with, but in a good way. It's kind of cute. The sentence, marry me. Marry me. And that is, it's a little bit complicated, but I will try to explain it to you. Вы ходи за меня. Выходи за меня. And then translate it. Вы ходи. Again. Выходи. This is the part that's stressed. That means O turns into A. Выходи. 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 За меня. Выходи за меня. Выходи за меня. Выходи за меня. Выходи за меня. Marry me. Выходи за меня. Okay, that's a short version, obviously, of the sentence. And let me just maybe teach you two more. One of which will be tingles related. And there's the word tingles. Tingles or murashki. It's actually a very nice word, I think. Murashki. In Russian, it's written this way. Mu ra shki. Murashki. Or in translated, mu ra shki. Murashki. Murashki. Murashki tingles. I hope that was interesting. Okay, and the last sentence is something that I say every time in my Russian whisper videos or Russian soft-spoken videos, and that is how to say good night, which is спокойной ночи. So, good night. Or спокойной ночи. Спокойной ночи. Спокойной is translated into this word. Спокойной. Spokojnej. And once again, remember, this one is now a, and this one is now a. So it's spokojnej, spokojnej, spokojnej noci. This is very simple. I hope you can make out the words because it's not clear completely. So, спокойной ночи. Спокойной ночи. Good night. Спокойной ночи. So, I wish you спокойной ночи, or good night, or good day, good evening, good morning. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for watching, for subscribing, for commenting, for being so patient and so inspiring. I appreciate all of your help, all of your love and support. I wish you all the best and promise you many, many more videos to come. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a good night. Спокойной ночи. Hello there. My name is Maria, and you might remember me as a teacher of Russian language here. Today I will actually be a teacher of Russian culture for you. I hope that you have enjoyed the little slideshow that I have created for you with a little music overlay and a little bit of subtitles here as well. I made it for you just to have an initial flavor of Russian culture, and I hope it did a trick for you. Now today we're going to talk about 3 topics. It's going to be more of entertaining learning more than an actual lesson. You don't need to remember certain things, just something for your general knowledge. Now I would love to start by saying that some of these traditions and differences that we're going to talk about today have started from a religious holiday. So let's just be nice, respectful and supportive of other cultures, other religions, and just maybe find a way to be more appreciative of differences of others. After all, we are all different, but we are all very similar, and that's the beauty of our world. Every nation is different, and we love them for just who they are and what they are. It's very interesting to learn about new cultures as well, and just maybe get a deeper appreciation for your own nation. Okay? Alright, and I will be showing you some slideshows, some videos, as well as reading you some notes. And I'm gonna start by writing on the board here. Okay? Once again, my name is Maria. If you need to ask me anything, okay? And the first topic we will talk about today is called Banya. I will write it with English spelling, so it's easier for you to read it. Okay. Okay, and also I have some notes here. So if you don't mind, I would like to maybe follow my speech. Okay. Just so I don't get lost. And let's start with the first slideshow. Okay. Alright. Russian banya. It is a particular local type of sauna, and temperatures many times exceed 200 Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And in order for you to protect your head, many times people would use these felt hats like this, like you see on some men here, and you put them on your head just like that, to protect your hair and your skin from burning, since your head is going to be the highest point of your body in the heat. Okay. Russians often hit each other or massage each other. Here you can see some salts with honey exfoliant. They just apply it on the skin and just rub it off, just to kind of cleanse off the top layer of the skin, just to prepare it for the actual procedures. And they often hit or massage a client or themselves or each other with bushes, with bunches of bushes like this. Usually those are made out of oak, birch tree, eucalyptus, and so forth. They just gently massage them, removing harmful elements from your body. Banya relaxes your entire muscles and your entire body, releases the tension from the muscles, and many times you can expect to lose as much as 300 calories per session. Overall, it increases your blood circulation, it detoxifies your body, and usually hot procedure and session like this is accompanied by a contrast shower or a quick dip in the lake or in a tub or some kind of a pool. And in winter, people may even roll in the snow like this, just to cool their body down and bring it back into the original state. And Russians have a saying that says, the day you spend in banya is the day you don't age. I think it's a really nice saying. Now, an early description of the banya comes from the East Slavic Chronicles of 1113, and the apostle Andrew visited territories that later were to become Russia and Ukraine, and he found these bathhouses, and I will quote them for you in just a moment. Right now I'd like to take you on a tour. Here you see a lady. She is laying down, and cool bunches of leaves are being placed on her. They are chilled. Now the banshik, the worker who does the massage of this type, he's going to bring the heat from the top down to the table, and he's going to start massaging her just all over her body like this, warming up the tissue, loosening up the tissue, and kind of exfoliating at the same time. It feels incredibly soothing. It feels really, really nice. He's going to work on some joints on her elbows here, as you can see, her wrist, finger joints, knees, and he will go all over the body just like that, just to warm them up, bring enough heat to the joint, to kind of increase the blood flow. And he will do some gliding, gentle movements like this, just to calm her down. And now you can see that she's taking a dip into cold water in the pool. Okay. So as I was saying, An early description of the banya comes from the East Slavic Chronicle of 1113. And the Apostle Andrew visited the territories that were later to become Russia and Ukraine. And he said, and I will quote him if you don't mind, "Wondrous to relate, I saw the land of Slavs, and while I was among them, I noticed their wooden bathhouses. They warmed them to extreme heat, then undress, and after anointing themselves with tallow," meaning applying some oils on themselves, "they take young reeds, the bushes, and they lash their bodies." So you would hit yourself with the leaves like this. "They do so violently that they barely escape alive. Then they drench themselves with cold water and thus are revived. They make of the act not a mere washing, but a veritable tournament." And that is very true. I personally enjoy saunas, just regular saunas, maybe steam rooms, at least weekly. But whenever I have a chance, I enjoy going to Russian banyas, Russian saunas. I believe there are some in New York, some in Philadelphia, and in the surrounding area. I'm sure they're everywhere. And those are my favorite ones, and I usually spend about 5 to 6 hours there of these continuous sessions like this with bushes, then having a cold dip in the ice cold water, and I would get out, have some tea, some fruits, maybe a little bit of fruit but nothing heavy, have extra tea, a lot of water, go into the jacuzzi, then come out and do it all over again. And you truly feel lighter after this kind of procedures. You feel so relaxed, and the heat truly helps you relax on a deeper level. It comes not just your body but your spirit in a way. It quiets your brain as well. At least that's what I've noticed. So I would recommend you checking that out. And when they hit each other or themselves, even with the bushes like this, with the branches, it's really more on the gentler side of it. It's not an actual violent act. It's more of just slapping yourself like this. And it feels incredibly good. So I hope that was interesting for you. Now the next topic, since we started talking about cold dipping, I will talk about winter swimming. So topic number 2 is winter swimming. Okay. And let me start my new projection. Okay. Winter swimming, or зимнее купание. It is believed that the baptismal water washes away sins and diseases, and a quick dip into a cold water like this is always accompanied, of course, by lots of hot drinks, warm clothing, lots of exercising and rubbing motions, just anything to bring back the heat in your body. Of course, it should be always accompanied by a doctor's opinion. It is connected directly with Epiphany, which is the event of the gospel stories of baptism of Jesus Christ in the river of Jordan. And that day is being celebrated on January 19th. every year, so the hole is being cut out in the snow, in the icy lake or river, and then blast to wash away the sins. Most of the time it's ice cold water of about -2 degrees Celsius or 28 degrees Fahrenheit. And so it is freezing cold, as you can imagine. And a sharp dip in cold ice water like this, even though it is a stress for the body, it releases a lot of anti-stress agents such as endorphins. As you exit the water, it brings you a peace, like a feeling of joy, of some kind of exhaustion anyway, and energizing at the same time. And also it releases hormones that cause a rapid response to hypothermia, which is associated with increasing of immunity. Now I have to say that, as you can see, most of the time this kind of contrast waters are introduced to children from childhood, and it's a gradual introduction. Of course, it's always under care of adults and professionals most of the time. It is something that you build up tolerance to and immunity to, I want to say. And I personally do contrast showers on a daily basis every day. So at this point, it's not that much of a shock for my body, but I've been doing it for a very long time. For people who are just starting to do it, there are certain techniques of introduction of such contrast showers, but every time it is a beneficial treatment for you, for your body. Even though it's a shock, it's so quick most of the time that your body just starts to fight it, and it finds a way to fight it, and then that builds up an immunity towards cold. So you might say that because we all know how cold Russia can be, Russians found a good way of building up a tolerance for the cold. This way they can withstand lower temperatures just because they are introduced to it. Okay, alright. And again, it's a type of hydrotherapy, so if you're interested, you're always welcome to check that out, and you will not regret it. Alright, now the last topic for us today is actually a celebration. It's an actual holiday, I want to say, and it is called Maslenitsa. Okay, so number 3. My marker's not really writing. Okay, I really hope you can see this. Okay. And let me turn on the video again so we can go step by step. I hope you will enjoy this one. Okay. Maslenitsa, or Butter Week, Pancake Week, Crepes Week. It is a religious and folk holiday, and it is celebrated during the last week of Great Lent, 7th week before Easter. It is basically the celebration of the welcoming of spring and saying goodbye to winter time. During Maslenitsa, meat is forbidden, but dairy such as cheese and milk are permitted. So on Sunday, the last day of Maslenitsa, everybody eats pancakes to their heart's content. And pancakes are round, they're circular, and they're yellow, so they represent the sun, which is why they eat pancakes that day, because it's the beginning of the spring, the sign of spring. Pancakes can be topped with jam, caviar, sour cream. They can be stuffed with cabbage or eggs and so forth. Lots of competitions and dances are being held. A lot of celebration are being held that day. The last and the most spectacular, the most interesting event is saying goodbye to Maslenitsa by solemn burning of the stuffed figure of the winter. And I'm gonna show it right here. So this is the winter, this is the Maslenitsa. They're burning her up and they're being happy about it as they're saying goodbye to her. One of the other fun things that were very interesting in the old Russia, I would say, were fighting. So you can see two groups of males and they start fighting. And as they fight, they actually release the tension that's been built up during that winter because it's so cold. And as they hit each other, they don't actually hit to hurt someone. It's more to relieve that aggression. And even though it is a fun, interesting thing, nowadays it's less violent. It has been transformed into something more peaceful. So it would be two groups of male again, but they will just push each other like this, as wall on wall. And then one of the walls has to move the other one without breaking apart. Away from a certain point, basically, and that's the group that will win. After it's over, the most interesting part is that everybody gives each other a hug. They ask for forgiveness. They wish each other a good, quick spring. So it is a day of unity, joy, of communication, of forgiveness. People are asking each other for forgiveness for absolutely everything. It's a day where you would try to leave your sinful life and you would ask for forgiveness, your surroundings, just to cleanse yourself and have a joyful day. It is also known that the funner the celebration will be of that day, the quicker the spring will arrive. And it will get warm again, obviously. So it is a very old holiday. Things for you to remember again: people eat lots of pancakes. They usually are given to everyone in the streets for free. It is kind of a government gift to people, so you can eat them for free most of the time. You see different celebrations, different competitions, different just beautiful dances and performances. Then you see the figure of winter being burnt, set on fire, and you say goodbye to her this way. You're ready to move to the spring. And again, everybody asks for forgiveness and wishes each other a good, welcoming spring. So that would be the end of our lesson today. I hope it was interesting for you to follow me, and I hope to see you many more times. If you're interested in learning more things about Russian, maybe about something else, please let me know and I will do my best to have more presentations for you like this. And again, thank you very much for your attention and have a good evening. Thank you.